Welcome back to Top 10. For this video, we will be covering the creepiest places on planet Earth. These spine-shivering locations send fear into the hearts of anyone who utters their name. If you find this video terrifying or it keeps you up at night, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Thanks so much. Number 10. Island of the Dolls, Mexico City, Mexico. The Island of Dolls in Mexico City has become a favorite tourist attraction for its population of creepy dolls. According to local legend, when the island's only occupant found a drowned girl in the canal and a doll nearby, he began hanging dolls around the island. Now thousands of these dolls are strung among the trees. It's unclear if he did so to honor the girl or to ward off any demonic spirits. Either way, the island is terrifying. To add on to the creepiness, the island is only accessible by boat, so good luck to anyone who wants to leave in a hurry. Number 9. Chernobyl, Ukraine. Chernobyl is a closed but not fully decommissioned nuclear power station in the restricted Chernobyl exclusion zone north of Kiev, Ukraine. The facility was evacuated on April 27, 1986, after a catastrophic nuclear accident, still regarded as the most devastating nuclear accident in history. The explosions killed 2 plant workers, the first of several workers to die within hours of the accident. For the next several days, as emergency crews tried desperately to contain the fires and radiation leaks, the death toll climbed as plant workers succumbed to acute radiation sickness. The area has recovered to some extent, but is far from returning to normal. But in the areas just outside the exclusion zone, people are beginning to finally resettle. Number 8. The Stanley Hotel, Colorado, United States. Americans are likely familiar with the Stanley Hotel, a 142-room colonial Riviera hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, and made famous as the inspiration for horror novelist Stephen King's Overlook Hotel in The Shining. The most famous room is 217, and it's for a good reason. There was a maid named Elizabeth Wilson who was lighting the gas lamps in the rooms many years back, but room 217 had a gas leak that blew the room apart and flung her body a story down. There has been multiple accounts of guests staying in this room, coming back and finding their luggage unpacked, shoes being lined up, and shadows seeming to pass through the walls. This gives me the chills just thinking of it. Number 7. Capuchin Catacombs, Palermo, Sicily, Italy. The Capuchin Catacombs are burial crypts in Palermo, Sicily, in southern Italy. They draw visitors as a somewhat dark tourist attraction. The catacombs act as a cemetery to an estimated 8,000 mummies that line the walls. Some of the human remains are now skeletal, while the catacombs also held well-preserved bodies. The last body was added to the site in 1920. Is this a tourist attraction you would go to? Because this is more of a nightmare for me. Number 6. Bran Castle, Bran, Romania. Bran Castle, also known as Dracula's Castle, is a national monument and landmark in Romania. Many associate vampires with Transylvania. However, lucky for us, the only connection with Bran Castle and vampires is mostly due to tourism. However, the fact still remains that there was a man named Vlad the Impaler, and he committed unspeakable atrocities. Some think he was the inspiration for Dracula. Whether this is true or not, I'll leave up to your imagination. Number 5. The North Yungas Road, Bolivia. Not a fan of heights? Then the Yungas Road will not be on your list for a dream vacation. The Yungas Road is a cycling route about 60 kilometers long, which links the city of La Paz and the Yungas region of Bolivia. It draws about 25,000 tourists per year. The road is known as one of the most dangerous roads in the world. Since 1998, it has claimed 18 people's lives due to its drastic descent of 3,500 meters, lack of guardrails, and extreme fog. I'm just happy that I am not a fan of cycling. Number 4. Hanging Coffins of Sagada, Sagada, Philippines. The people of Sagada follow a unique burial ritual. The elderly carve their own coffins out of hollowed logs. The dead are then placed inside these coffins, sometimes needing to break their bones in the process of fitting them in, and the coffins are brought to a cave for burial. Instead of being placed into the ground, the coffins are hung either inside the cave or on the face of the cliff, near the hanging coffins of their ancestors. The Sagada people have been practicing such burials for over 2,000 years, and some of the coffins are well over a century old. Eventually, the coffins deteriorate and fall. The reason the coffins were hung was due to the belief that the higher the dead were placed, the greater chance of their spirits reaching a higher nature in the afterlife. Number 3. Eastern State Penitentiary, Philadelphia. Eastern State Penitentiary and its 142 years history is full of suicide, madness, disease, murder, and even torture, making it easy to imagine the spirits of troubled souls left behind to roam its abandoned halls. Eastern State Penitentiary also used extreme punishment. For example, there was the water bath, in which inmates were dunked and then hung out on a wall in winter until ice formed on the skin. The mad chair, which bound an inmate so tightly that circulation was cut off, later necessitating amputations, or the iron gag, in which an inmate's hands were tied behind the back and strapped to an iron collar in the mouth so that any movement caused the tongue to tear and bleed profusely. Famous inmates include Al Capone, Morris Bulber, and even Leo Callahan. Number 2. The Suicide Forest, Japan. At the foot of Mount Fuji lies the world's most haunted forest, which looks creepy enough before finding out more than 100 people commit suicide here every year. Apparently, suicide is so common in the area that they actually do an annual body gathering. So if you do plan on visiting, make sure it is after this annual search. Before we reach number 1, a few honorable mentions. Old Jewish Cemetery, Prague. This graveyard is the oldest surviving Jewish burial ground in the world, dating back to 1439. The Catacombs of Paris, a subterranean cemetery of more than 6 million people whose bones are scattered around a claustrophobic network of tunnels. Edinburgh Castle. Edinburgh Castle is full of tales of torture, grave robbing, and spine-chilling underground vaults. The Tower of London. Mostly known for its beautiful design, the Tower of London has a blood-soaked history. Countless prisoners have been tortured and executed here, even including King Henry VIII's ex-wife, Anne Boleyn. Number 1. The Ancient Ram Inn, Wootton-under-Edge, UK. This restaurant and hotel was built in the 1100s and has regular guests lining up to be terrorized by screams and moving furniture. The current owners of the property believe that it was built on a former pagan burial ground where children were sacrificed. Caroline Humphreys, who has lived in the house for over 30 years, is used to the sight of guests fleeing from visions of little girls, the cries of children, and even sensations of being pushed down onto the bed by male demons. If this doesn't leave you terrified, then you are one brave person. Do you agree with our list? Are you also terrified by these locations? Do you know of any nerve-trembling locations yourself? Comment below to let us know, and we may just cover those locations in our next video. Interested in more Top 10? Follow and subscribe to our channel. Ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date about more Top 10 videos. Thanks so much.